So I'm going to be talking about adaptive technology, and a lot of it is very similar to assistive technology as well. So it was kind of hard to separate the two. So it's a bit of an overlap, but just to give you an idea of what it's about. It's when you have, is any product that you have, any device or equipment, whether you bought it or you modified it in any way or customize it, and they use to help improve your functional capabilities. So and I'm going to give you some examples of what that kind of looks like. So a lot of it can help with if you have any issues with low vision, any physical impairments, hearing or cognitive impairments. So technology can really help you in those areas. And some examples. I'm gonna demonstrate some today and give you hopefully lots of different ideas. But there are screen readers, there's screen magnifiers, voice to text software, voice control, so you can just with your voice control your computer or different devices. And there's different keyboard and mice that are that can help you when if you're having any physical issues using your devices. And there's also lots of accessibility features on your computer and your smartphone or tablet, and just kind of showing you what is out there and things that might help you. So let's get into it. So adaptive technology for low vision. So some of the things I mentioned were like a screen reader on your computer and smartphone and tablet, and a magnifier. So I'm going to show you some of those examples. Okay, so if you are an iPhone user, this is a screen. This is how you activate the screen reader. There's actually different kinds, but there's one built in to your phone. If you go right into the accessibility features where I'm showing here, and then you go under spoken content, and you're going to turn on these two because it's not going to work unless you turn this on. So one is speak selection. You slide the bar over, and it says the speak button will appear when you select text. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. And then also speak screen. You're going to want to turn that on. And what that does, if you swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of your screen, you'll hear the content on the screen. So that's what this example here is, that at the very top of your screen, you have to take 2 fingers together and you have to swipe down. And when you do that, then you get this little bar comes up, and you can pause it, fast forward, change the speed. There's a lot of different things you can do, and it's going to read everything on your screen. So I'm going to actually demonstrate that in a minute. So one of the things you can use as well to kind of focus on what you're reading is that if you use Safari on your phone as your web browser, there's a reader view, and when you're in Safari, you press this little button here on the left, and then that will get rid of all the unnecessary content. So I'm going to show you what that looks like on my phone, so you have a good idea. So I'm in Safari right now, and if I'm looking on this article, you can see there's all kinds of ads. This is Leon's and videos, but I just want to read the text. So if I press this button here, or the 2 A's, and then I can click where it says show reader. And what it did now, when I scroll down, those ads are gone. It's only mostly just text, and the videos are gone. So from here, I can then, there's 2 ways I can access the information. I can take my 2 fingers, and you're not gonna be able to see me do it, but on the screen, I take my 2 fingers from the top and I slide down. And sometimes it's very finicky because it's not working for me right now as I'm trying to do it. Of course, technology, you gotta love it. That's why it's a little tricky. I don't usually use this feature, but that bar would show up, and it's not wanting to work for me right now. Come on. Rachel's bad luck. So, but it would start reading the screen, just like I showed on this page. The other thing you could do is,
I resent the implication that this is my fault in any way, shape, or form.
It is. The other way you can read information is if I hold my finger down on the text and I highlight it, I can go like that. And then you can see on the screen, it says speak. So if I tap that, it will start speaking. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but it would start speaking and showing you as you go along what it's saying. And I can pause it. So that's already included in your phone, which is a handy feature. Now, another reading screen reader, which is included with your phone, is actually in the camera. I didn't know about this until recently. So if you just open up the camera on your phone, you'll get, and you hold it over any kind of text, you'll see these little bars automatically show up, little yellow, and it'll go around the corners. And when you want to capture that text, you press this button, and you can see that it highlights it. It does like almost like a screen capture of it. It's going to move something around here. And then you can then hit the button like where I just highlighted everything and hit select all. And it will look like this. It will highlight it, and then you can hit speak, just like I did a moment ago, and it'll start talking everything and show you everything on the screen. So that's pretty neat how it's right in your camera. So there's quite a few ways to use a screen reader. I'm going to show you some apps as well. So this is one called Seeing AI, and I absolutely love this. This is only for an iPhone. I'll show you some an Android kind of version in a moment. But when you press the button here on the bottom, little T, it'll just automatically, when you hold your camera, you don't have to press any buttons, it'll just start reading any text that it sees. And then you can also hit the person here, and it describes what it sees. So if I held it up to Rachel, it would say, beautiful young lady. It actually is very descriptive. So see, I actually gave you a compliment, Rachel. And but if
I'm
you hold
very impressed.
it'll tell you. And then also products. So if you're shopping, you hold it over the barcode, it'll read all the information about the can and anything that it knows about that product. And also currency, you hold it over any money, and it'll tell you what it sees. So if this is, if you have any issues with low vision, that's definitely a very helpful app. And if you're an Android user, if you open the phone, the camera, then they have this program called Lookout. I've loved a lot of the Android things I'm showing. I actually haven't used a lot of them because I'm an iPhone user, so I'm not able to demonstrate it. But apparently, you use this feature called Lookout, and then your camera will describe anything that it sees. It's saying in this example that it's going to show you what is on the cutting board. Start reading it. It would say, green beans and avocado. It would start talking about whatever it saw, which is great for vision. And now this is one that's available for Android and iPhone. It's called Speechify. This is really in-depth program. So if you're somebody that finds you're going to use a screen reader a lot, you can take pictures of a textbook and even import, like if you had a paperback version of something, you can take pictures of the pages and it'll then put it in on your phone, and then you can have it read to you. And so it's great for a lot of students, and then you can watch it on any device, but it gets pretty pricey. I think it's like $100 a year or something, but it's very advanced. So if you think it's something that, if you have low vision or it would benefit, it's worth doing a free trial, and it's available on all platforms, which is nice. And if you're somebody you're like, I want to be able to use a screen reader on my computer, then this is available if you're using a PC computer or if you have a Mac computer. Is what you have to use Google Chrome as your web browser. So I'm not sure if there's different ways to look on the internet, but if you install Google Chrome, then you can use this feature. So one of them is called a screen reader, and I'm going to show you how to access that. So you need to go to the Chrome Web Store, and I can provide the address if you can't find it. If you Google Chrome Web Store, it takes you here. In the search bar, you type in screen reader, and it'll take you to this page. So what it will say next to it is, I already have it installed, so it would say an install button here. You click that, and what happens is at the top of your page, here, you're going to get little icons. So these are called Google extensions. So this little circle here is the screen reader, and it's going to read things on my computer, but only if you're in Google Chrome. So to show you that article earlier, so if I wanted to use the screen reader, I click this little button, it's going to turn, it'll darken if it's on and then go light if it's off. So I'm going to turn it on. You see it's black now. And when I hold my cursor over something, it highlights it. And when I click, it starts reading.
We want to protect the community, our fellow students, our teachers, our family members.
And to turn it off, I just touch the button and it goes gray again. Now you can play around with the settings. You can change the speed of the voice, even the person's voice, if it doesn't sound so robotic, and if you like to hear a woman's voice as well. And this is completely free and available on any computer. And another way, if you have some low vision issues, you can use a reader pen. And I haven't used this. I don't know if anybody here's had experience using it, but I've heard some good things about it. I think you just hold the pen over some text, and you can see in the picture it captures the text and it'll read it for you, and you can save it. And I haven't played around with it much, but I thought it was a pretty neat thing when I was doing some research on some devices. I think it's been around a while. But I find if you have a smartphone, there's so many things on your phone that you don't need to waste your money buying a lot of these devices. Because you could use, a low vision magnifier. This is something that somebody's used in the past. These are actually very expensive. So you can take an entire textbook and it magnifies to a large screen. You can capture pictures of that then and load it into a digital form, and then use a screen reader that way. But this is I've seen clients use this many, many years ago, and it's not something that I've used now. But if you're somebody who has really your vision is really impaired, then I think that would be a helpful system to have in your home. I prefer to use, if I need to use a magnifier, I would prefer to use my phone, and because it has a built-in magnifier. And in order to turn that on, you go into your settings, accessibility, magnifier, and just switch it on. And then when you do that, you can see it even gives you a little hotkey here, and I'll demonstrate it on my phone. So if I just swipe down, not in that area, here, I have the icon and I click on it, and that turns on my magnifier. So say I wanted to read, here's a little flyer that came from McDonald's. I can zoom in to the text, see how big I can get it? And I just slide that little guide. And here on the bottom, I can even change if I find I can use different color inversions. I can, let's see, change the brightness. And what does this one do? Contrast. And we already did that. And if it was in a dark room, the flashlight would come on. But I'm in a right room right now. And I can even take a picture of it, a still picture, and then save it and zoom into it later on. But this is a great little feature I already have, especially, getting older. And I was talking to Rachel earlier that I need my glasses now to see up close. So I think I'll be using this a little more often going forward. And Android has the same features. So I'm going to show later on how you can access a lot of the Android accessibility things. I just can't demonstrate it to you today. And if you want to use some zooming in software on your computer, they make this for a PC or a Mac. It's called ZoomText. And I had this with a client who was almost completely blind, and it worked great for them on their computer. It has a magnifier and reader all in one. So you'll get this little bar on the top, and you can change the settings there. But it allows you to, whenever you move your cursor on your computer, you can set it so it reads everything it sees. And also you can make all the text really large, as you can see here in the picture on the left. It's very customizable, but great software for any computer. Okay, so now adaptive technology for physical impairments. We talked about a lot of visual. So voice to text is a great one if you're having trouble manipulating your computer or using or typing, then using your voice is going to be a great tool for you. And voice control, you can control a lot of your computer screen and your phone just by voice. There's like a head mouse, and I'm going to show you some ways you can do all those things. So if you're a Mac user, they have built-in voice to text and it works amazing. There's nothing you need to do. You press to get started this little FN button, which is on the bottom left-hand corner. You press it twice. And if you've never used it before, excuse me, it will start installing the software automatically and set it up for you. After that, every time you press it twice, then this little icon appears, little microphone. And when it lights up, it's listening, and you just talk, and it'll type out anywhere on your computer. Doesn't matter what program you're in. You can be on the internet and and Word, anything at all. It will anywhere you can type with your keyboard. You can do it by voice, and it'll type it out. The thing with it is, so if you're typing, you have to say the punctuation. So in here it says, "I am good." You have to say period, and then "How are you?" question mark, and it puts it in. But it works fantastic on a Mac computer. If you have a PC computer, then in the past, the voice dictation was terrible. But if you upgraded to Windows 11, which is the newest one, and some older computers, you'll not be able to update to Windows 11. But when you go to the updates on your computer, it'll tell you if you're compatible or not. There's no charge to update, and I absolutely love Windows 11. And they now have a voice to text. It works even better than the Mac computer. I think it's the best software. So you have to turn it on initially. You have to go into the privacy and security and click on speech. And then there you turn on, it's called speech recognition. Now, if you're not using Windows 11, it's in there as well, but it's terrible. It doesn't work very well. I wouldn't recommend it. I'll tell you something else to use if you have an older computer, but Windows 11, use that, because what happens is when you have it, in order to turn it on, like with a Mac, you press that FN button twice, but on a PC computer, you hit the Windows button and H. And what that does is gives you this icon, which is very similar to on a Mac, and you press the button and it starts listening, and you press it to stop. But one of the features I think I love about it is if you click this little gear, it brings up the settings, and you turn on auto punctuation, and that you don't have to say period, question mark. You can just talk. You don't have to pause at all. It'll put in periods, put everything in for you, automatically correct all your grammar mistakes, and works absolutely amazing. Because a lot of times I know when I'm using dictation and I have to pause and say period, question mark, you lose your train of thought. I want to just get it all out. And if you can just say everything and then not have to worry about the grammar and putting everything in, it works great, especially for students. My son uses that. He just talks and he doesn't have to go back and correct everything. Another feature in there is that you'll see right above where you turn on auto punctuation, you have voice type launcher, and you can use this feature if you want it or not, but I like it because what it does is it gives you this other little icon, and it stays on your computer all the time. So instead of having to hit the Windows and H button to turn it on, you get this little tiny icon, and you can move it around anywhere on your computer, and it kind of fades off in the background when you're not using it, but you can still notice it. And that way you can turn voice to text on anytime. I just like having that little window, but you don't have to. It's just a feature to have, but can't say enough good things about that new feature in Windows 11. And what do I got here? Okay, so if you are using an older computer, this is why I brought this up, and you're like, I don't have Windows 11, but I want to use voice typing, then there's a few other options. So the free version is if you go to the Chrome Web Store, just like where I did with that screen reader, I'll go back in and show you. You can install an app called Voice and Voice Typing, and then that allows you to dictate it on the screen. So if you go into the web store and do a search, and it's Voice and Voice Typing, you'll see it here. You hit install, and it's going to give you this little microphone next to the screen reader at the top. And right now it's got a little line through it because it's off, because I can't dictate on this page. You have to click on a spot where you can type, and then it'll allow you to. So the best place I think if you're in, because it only works in Google, in Chrome as your web browser. So if I go to my email, say I use Gmail, you can see it went away, the X. It tells me I can use it here. So if I want to compose an email to someone, then I can do it in here. And all I do is hit this little button, it'll turn red, and I can talk. This is now typing out everything I'm saying. And then I click the button and turn it off. And the red goes away, but you can see it was very accurate. You have to say punctuation though with it, periods and commas and stuff. But great free features, and you can explore if you go into the Chrome. If you go into the Chrome store, I mean, there's so many different other tools. Because I have other icons here as well, so you have to play around with it and see. And okay, so that was all about voice dictation. So now say you wanted to control your computer. So you have some, physical limitations. You want to it's hard to use a mouse and you want to be able to control things. So in the Windows 11, it has something called voice access, and it seems to work pretty good. I haven't played around with it too much, but you have to turn it on. So in accessibility, so right above where you had turned on the voice to text feature or Windows recognition, you turned it on. It's off here, but you turn on voice access. And this is going to allow you to control your PC computer. And what will happen is you're going to get a bar that it will appear at the very top, and it'll stay up there. And it's at the top of your desktop, and it's got a little microphone. And you do it all by voice. You can even say, start listening, turn off microphone. You do it all by voice. And then you can say, open Google Chrome, turn up the volume, turn down the volume. You can do everything. There's even more advanced where I can have it select when you're on a web page. You can even, all these numbers show up, and you say a number and it'll select something on the screen. So you can completely control your computer all by voice if you needed to.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
I just got a little bit of feedback wondering if you can slow down a smidge. I think everyone's really interested in all the stuff that you're saying.
Oh, going fast?
And you're getting excited because you also like technology.
I do. I'm sorry, I'm going fast, guys.
No worries. Thank you.
One of the things I said to Rachel earlier is that I'm going to send the presentation, I'll put it into a PDF document so you can have it, and that way everything you see here, you can see it later on if you've missed something. So, but no, thank you for that feedback. I will try to slow down.
Yeah, we've still got a good 15 minutes or so to get through stuff and then still have room for questions. So
yeah, please ask some questions. Yeah. So I might be done before the 15 minutes, so at this pace. Okay, so if you you're using say if you're using a Mac, or you don't have Windows 11 and you're using an older computer, but you still want to be able to control it by voice, then there are some other options. Like a Mac computer has built-in control features, but it doesn't work very well, and you have to set it up, and it's just not something I recommend. If you're looking though you're like, I want to be able to control my computer, then this is an old program that's been around a long time. They've made a lot of improvements. It's called Dictation, and you can install it on any device. And this allows you to then, it takes some setup and training of it, but you can then control your computer all by voice, and you can also use it as a voice to text as well. It does two things. It's an all-in-one kind of feature. So I always try to look for things where you don't have to pay for it, and because this is something that, it's a few $100s, but I always like to try out all the free things first, things that are already included with your computer, and then that way you don't have to spend any more money, because technology gets dated pretty quick and there's always new stuff all the time. But Dragon's been around for a long time, and in the past it used to not be a very good program, and they've made a lot of improvements. And you get this toolbar at the top, and you click the little microphone and you can talk, and it's a good program. Now, if you want to still be able to control your device, but you have some physical limitations, but not by voice. I mean, you can use this in conjunction with using voice features. You can use some switches, and they've been around a long time, but they've made a lot of improvements in the software for you to use the switches. Now there's different ones. There's the ones that you've probably seen these. You can press them with any part of your body, and they have a joystick as well. And this one here I've used, it's called a Tekla, and it's like 4 switches in one. Each corner is a switch, and it's all Bluetooth, so there's no cables at all, and you can hook it up to a wheelchair and things like that. It has tons of features that I can't even really think of right now, but that wirelessly connects then to your devices like your phone. And when you set it up in all the accessibility options, then you can control your device through these switches. So if you press a button, it will move a bar like this around, and then you press it again, it'll stop, and then you press it again, it'll select that column, and then you can select the app. So I find using the switches combined with voice commands is a good way to control your computer if you have very limited mobility. And just some other aids if you find it difficult to use your phone. Sometimes just using a stylus pen, or you can use these ones like this is a ring. You always have it on you, put it on your finger. It's got the rubber tip on it, so then you can tap on your devices, or you can put this one right over on your tip of your finger, because it's sometimes just getting the right angle is hard for somebody to use a device. So these are ring or finger stylus. And there's some other options as well. So if you have a hard time holding that, you can get these moldable stylus pointers, and this is pretty cool. You can see you can bend the end. It has like a tip on it, and it works on your smartphone or tablet. You can bend it so you have a handle. You can use a strap, so if you have a hard time holding it, it goes around your fingers, or you can just put on one of your finger and hook it on that way. But that's a great way for you to be able to use your smartphone or a tablet, or even if your computer, because you can use an on-screen keyboard as well, and you can press the keyboard if you have a touch screen. So there's lots of options out there to help. And then just to keep it in place, so if you're trying to use one of those stylus pens, especially with the strap on it, you want to have your phone secured instead of just sitting on your lap. So there's different options. You can use this a stand that you can put a phone on, or a tablet, or you can get one that has a clamp on it, goes on the side of your desk. You can get ones that go on the side of your bed as well. And you can even see, you can get ones that hold your computer. So there's tons of different mounts out there depending on your situation. If you're lying in bed, you can get ones that are more suited for that, or if you're sitting up straight, or even in your chair. There's been lots of mounts that I've got for people who are in wheelchairs, so it's nice and secure. You don't have to worry about the device falling out, and you can put it at the right angle. And some other things, if you're like, I don't need to use a switch, I can use a keyboard, but it's just a little hard using a regular keyboard. There's different ones. There's one that someone it's designed to hold something in your mouth, and you can press using it that way. You can have one with inverted colors. You can get the key if you find that it bothers you and hard to see. Then you can get keyboards all different colors. You can get ones here that it separates and a little more comfortable. This one here is, you can get them designed for if you only have use of one hand. This is like there's a left and right-handed keyboards you can get. This one here has different angles. And then if you just want really large keys, you can use one like that. But there's lots of options out there. And there's even different kind of mice, all different shapes. So this one here, an ergonomic mice, the left or right-handed orientation. So it's just all about more comfort. This one here, you can see it's really large, and you have to wrap your whole hand around it, and it's a vertical one, so it's more natural. You put it like a handshake position, so you're kind of going up and down. And so all there's different shapes here. I haven't used a bar mouse before. It says you put it in front of the keyboard, and the bar goes left to right. It rolls up and down. So that's pretty neat. And then this is one with a big ball track on it, and even another one like that. So there's different mice. You have to try one that's more suited for and comfort. It's all about comfort, because I know I can't use it for very long, my wrist starts to get a little sore. And another way, if you find a mouse is a little too hard or using using a switch, then you can control the computer using a head mouse. Now I use this with a client as well, and this is actually works really well. So you get a camera and you can attach it to anything, not just a computer. You can go on an iPad, phone, and what it does is this camera sends a signal to this little dot. There's a boy here with a little dot on his forehead, and that is what the camera tracks. So what I do though, instead of sticking it on your forehead, you can, but we used a pair of glasses. We just got a pair that had clear lenses, and we stuck it on the middle of the glasses right between. And then that way it just puts the glasses on when you wanted to use this. And what it does is when you turn your head side to side, it moves the cursor on the screen. And then combined with software here called Dragger, when you hold the mouse over a little icon, then that's what it turns on. It'll turn on the left click and right click. It's with a little bit of training, it's actually really easy to use. So it looks like it might be complicated, but you can control a lot of your computer, and then you can use an on-board keyboard that you can do, because the way it's set up is, you can have it set so if you just hold the cursor over an image for a couple seconds, then it's just like clicking. You can set it, customize it, that works well for you. But this is it's a great system. And there's also pen mice. So you hold it just like a pen, and it has a roller on the bottom, and you can then move, control the cursor on your computer by holding a pen. So it's pretty cool. Or you can use a trackpad, and that's what I use all the time. That's on the bottom of my MacBook, has a trackpad. I just glide my finger across it and I tap. I don't, and sometimes though I'll use an actual mouse, but this is an easier way. Trackpads are great. They're built into a lot of computers now as well. This is kind of an older style, but there's lots of different ones out there. How's the speed now, Rach? Is it better? No complaints? It's good, everyone? Okay. And some other things you could do to make it a little more comfortable. You could use a lap tray. This one has like a beanbag underneath, and so it's more comfortable on your lap. And there's holders and a light on it. You could even clamp, one of those mounts on it, and so this just makes it a little more comfortable. And this is something I'm going to pick up. It's articulating wrist support. So I was saying my arm gets tired using a mouse. You can clamp this on your desk, and then your wrist can set in there and just make it a lot more comfortable. Or if you're having trouble keeping your arm up, it can keep your hand at a locked place, which is a great feature. And then a desk that goes up and down. Now, originally, I think they were more for someone who was in a wheelchair. They lift up and you could slide under. But I know a lot of people using this now, just because you're sitting down, it gets a little tiring. Your back gets a little sore. Just be able to change the position. You can stand up, and then you can raise your desk and just work at a standing position for a while. Just change it up. So if you're somebody who does a lot of work at the desk, getting one that can go up and down is great. And they make some that are manual. They can, hold the button in it and lift it, but they also have power ones. So if you're thinking, oh, I can't lift this desk up and down, there's some that have a little remote control, and it can raise it up for you. Okay, so for adaptive technology for hearing impairments, Bluetooth hearing aids, I absolutely love these. So that's the greatest thing, because the hearing aids in the past, they didn't have Bluetooth. And I'm going to tell you some of the neat features of having your hearing aids with Bluetooth. You can also have the light flashing on your phone or vibrating. So if you're having hearing impairments, it'll help that way. So I'm just going to jump in. How am I for time? I'm good. Okay. So benefits of Bluetooth hearing aids. And so you can connect to all your smart devices. That's a whole nother talk. So there's lots of devices out there, and you can connect wirelessly your hearing aid to these devices. You can adjust the volume on your hearing aids. You can have it connected to your phone, and you can adjust it, through the phone. There's lots of different ways. You can have preset programs, and and one of the things, this is a great feature, find your hearing aids using a hearing aid locator. So losing a hearing aid is a big thing. So being able to find them it's a very helpful feature because they are expensive and you don't want to be losing them. And I'm going to get into a little bit some of the details with the Bluetooth hearing aids that I find are great. So number one, hearing aids allow you to hear a phone conversation more clearly. It's just the technology is better, so you can hear a little crisper. Listen to your favorite TV program at your own chosen volume setting. So you can have your hearing aids connected to, if you have a smart TV, or it'll connect wirelessly to it, or if you have, your phone or tablet or computer, and anything you're listening to, you can control the volume. You're hearing the sound from your TV in your hearing aid, or you're hearing it, through your phone. And it's such a nice feature. You can also listen to number three here, music or podcasts, or watching TV on your, on anything. And it's just a nice feature, not having cords and be able to hear it directly in there. Because somebody, if you have a hearing aid, and you have an earpiece in, you're not going to hear it very well without your hearing aids. So it's just nice and crisp. Enjoy video chats or TV programs with better sound quality. And then there's so many different apps out there designed for hearing aids. It's so great. One of the downsides I heard from people is that if they wanted to watch TV with the family and they have their hearing aid in and they're like, they hear the sound, but nobody else can then because the hearing aid takes over the sound. So you're sitting here and watching TV as a family and they're the only person hearing it. But if you get this device, a hearing aid TV streamer, what it does is allows the entire family to hear the program on the TV. And also if there's other people in your family who have hearing aids, you have multiple hearing aids connected. Everybody, the sound goes through the hearing aids, it goes through the speakers on the TV, and your whole family can enjoy it. And I set this up with our client recently, and it's been a nice feature. He used to go on his own in another room because he couldn't watch, if the sound was on the TV, he couldn't hear it. And if he wanted to have it on his hearing aid, the rest of the family couldn't hear it. So we got this, and now they're actually spending a lot more quality time together watching TV. And also, he said he gets up late at night. He doesn't have to blast the volume on the TV. He can listen to it. He's the only one hearing it, which is kind of a nice feature of having a Bluetooth hearing aid, not disturbing the rest of the family. Okay, so other things for if you have any hearing impairments, you can turn on a feature it has sensory alerts. So if somebody calls my phone, I can have it so I see the phone. It starts flashing, the flashlight in the back, and the screen starts flashing. So I might not hear it, but I can see that it's responding. Also, it can vibrate, and if you're wearing, say a smartwatch, that'll vibrate and let you know as well. So there's ways around it. And this just is telling you this is in the accessibility features in your iPhone. It's also on an Android as well. And this is something new. I didn't know about this one. I played around with this one last night. Sound recognition. So if you can program your phone to listen for certain sounds, like a baby crying, a doorbell, a siren. So and then your phone then will alert you when it hears it. So I set it there's a bunch of things you can pick, but it's like one of them was a cough. So I tried it out and I went and put the phone down and then I was pretending to cough. And then an alert popped up on my phone and said, detected a cough. And so it was pretty neat. So I was impressed. And you can customize the sounds too. So say you wanted the doorbell to give you an alert. You can customize all these different alerts. So you'll know the difference between the doorbell and a baby crying and stuff. So yeah, pretty impressive. Okay, so adaptive technology for cognitive impairments. You could have some blue light filtering. I'll show you what that looks like. Mindband, this is something new I've been using with someone. And let's have a look. Okay, so blue light filter. I hear this a lot from clients who are saying they're looking at the screen, they're getting a headache, their eyes are getting strained. And they say there's a lot of health benefits from using a filter screen. So it says, protects your eyes, help with sleep and reduce eye strain. If you find that the screen bothers you, you can get a filter for your computer, you can get it for your a tablet or your phone. And you know, they're fairly inexpensive, so it's worth giving a try if you find that the screen is bothering you. This is Mindband, and I got one of these to see how it works, but it's a headband with a Bluetooth speaker inside. So it's basically all it is. So the controls are on the front, and the speakers are built into the side, so you don't feel it. They're very comfortable. So you put it on at night. You know, it doesn't have to be at night, but it's designed for that, to help with sleeping. And you hear the sound wirelessly through the speakers. And what we do is usually you connect it with some kind of app, and I'll show you one that I would recommend. It's called there's one called Headspace, because in there, it gives you all kinds of things where if you want to listen to the rainforest, or there's one on there too, it's a category to help you to fall asleep. A lot of this is, it says, listen to someone boring talking. And you click that and it's somebody just rambling about nonsense. So you're supposed to listen to that, and it helps you drift off to sleep. But it is really boring. So, and they have one too, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can select one that says help you fall asleep again. So they have all kinds of different things that you can, and they have a trial version, and there's lots of different apps as well. There's free stuff too, but it's just designed to help you sleep. Because I know, you know, sometimes listening to that's good. And if you have your partner in your room with you, you don't want to have a speaker on that they hear. So if only you were hearing it, then it's good. Now I tried it myself, but I wasn't a big fan, because I found I got hot in the middle of the night because they have this headband on your head. And other people I know have used it, and they said no, they didn't have that issue. But for me, I get warm in the middle of the night all the time, and I had to rip it off because I was too hot. So maybe in the winter it'll be good. So
I'm aware, Rick, that we have about 13 minutes left. I see that that's maybe your wrapping up slide anyways.
I'm on the last thing I wanted to show, so I can
Perfect.
quickly show this.
Okay.
Include 13 minutes, that's what Q&A as well, right? Okay, so let me
Yes, sir.
show, just to take note of the accessibility features and how to access them. If you're a Mac user, you go to this website. And if you're an Android user, you go to that website, it shows on the bottom. And I'm going to quickly just show you. I won't go through all the features because I know we don't have a lot of time. But if I go to accessibility on Mac, this is an amazing website. This is the link I put in there. And it breaks down all the accessibility features. And what you can do, it shows a little demonstration, and you can see all vision features if you wanted. So say, for example, I wanted to check out vision. It shows you all the accessibility, and if I wanted to learn more, it tells you what device it's on as well. So if I wanted to find it on an iPhone, I click on that, and it gives me directions on how to set it up. It says exactly where to go and how to use it, and it does it for every accessibility feature in your phone. It's such an amazing website. I can't believe they set it up so user friendly. And you keep going down, that was all vision, and then they have this one that looks at mobility features. They even have a cognitive area as well. So this is sound, hearing features, and yeah, I was impressed. I didn't want to go through them all, but if I keep going, I wanted to at least show you the cognitive part. Oh, I think it's jumping around. But anyway, you can check it out. It's good. And then if you're an Android user, you go to their accessibility site, and it's not as interactive, but they do tell you all the different features that they have. They don't tell you how to set them up, but they do explain, for example, what you're looking for. So say they show here live transcript. This is one of the features. It'll read everything on the screen for you. Live, like closed caption, you can see it, and you can get more detail about it as well. So with them, if you wanted to set it up, I would recommend just doing a Google search, saying, how do I set up live caption? And there's lots of instruction videos out there that will help. But if you keep going through, there's all kinds of different things depending on what device you have. So that is everything I said. I could talk all day about things, but if you have any questions, I'd love to try to help.